Hi there guys, and welcome back to another Tom Voyage video. So recently I've had a few comments asking me to review the KARU 16 against the KARU 12G. Now it's not a video that I thought was really relevant, as these two ovens are kind of in a class of their own, but since it's been requested a few times I thought I'd do it for you today. Let's go. So this comparison, we've got the Ooni KARU 16 here and the Ooni KARU 12G here. So let's start with some of the similarities. Now they're both multi-fuel pizza ovens, which means they can cook on wood, they can cook on charcoal, or they can cook on gas with the added attachment. They both feature a door on the front and they both feature this black powder coated finish. Now obviously, as the name suggests, the KARU 16 is designed to cook 16 and 12-inch pizzas, whereas the KARU 12G is just designed to cook 12-inch pizzas. They're both capable of reaching temperatures of up to 500 degrees, that's about 900 degrees Fahrenheit, and both of these ovens feature a thermometer. The one on the KARU 16 is digital, whereas the one on the KARU 12G is an analog dial on the side. Now the 16 is a much larger oven, it weighs 28 kilograms, so it's quite a beast, whereas the KARU 12G, being smaller, weighs just 15 kilograms. Now in terms of fuel consumption, when using wood, you'll be able to cook 10 pizzas using 2.2 kilograms of fuel on the KARU 16, and the same 10 pizzas will take just 1.1 kilograms of fuel when using the KARU 12G. Now if you're using these ovens on gas, the larger one consumes 0.5 kilograms of gas per hour, whereas the smaller one consumes 0.34 kilograms of gas per hour. So overall, the smaller one is more efficient. Now in terms of space, we already mentioned that this one's designed to cook 16-inch pizzas, but the height of this opening here is 145 millimeters, so you've got a bit more room to cook larger things in there if you wanted to. Now the opening height on the 12G, for example, is just 98 centimeters, so you're a little bit more limited on what you can cook in this oven. Now in terms of cost, the larger one of the two ovens costs £699 in the UK, whereas the smaller one of the ovens costs £379, so there's quite a big difference in the cost there. So as a next test, we're going to see how long these ovens take to come up to a temperature where you would cook Neapolitan style pizza. We'll then cook a pizza on each of these ovens to see how they perform. I'd also like to give a shout out to Lovelogs, who very kindly supplied the wood that I'm going to be using to cook the pizzas in this video. They provide a high quality product that's all cut to the right size for your oven, and if you want more information on them, I'll put some links in the description below. So just as a comparison, this is the fuel box for the KARU 12G, and this one is the firebox for the KARU 16. So as you can see, there's quite a difference in the size there of these two fireboxes. So let's get these in the ovens, and we'll get the ovens lit and see how long they take to come up to temperature. So first, let's light the KARU 12G. And straight away afterwards, we'll light the KARU 16. So that's both ovens lit. We'll leave them now for around 20 minutes before coming back to check what temperature they're at. So it's been around 20 minutes now, and the thermometer on the side of the Ooni KARU 12G is reading in the red zone, which means it's a good temperature for cooking, but just to be sure, we're going to double check the stone temperature with one of these digital thermometers. So that's reading at 422, so I think that's a perfect temperature to cook a pizza. So now let's go and check the temperature of the KARU 16. So the digital thermometer on this one is reading 383. So slightly cooler, but let's just check the stone temperature. Okay, so that one is 411 degrees, so not quite as hot as the smaller oven, but still perfectly fine to cook a pizza on. I will mention though, the Ooni KARU 16, I only put one extra log on during that heat up time, whereas the kindling on the smaller KARU, I put about 4 or 5 pieces on, so something to bear in mind. So we have our pizza here ready, and we're going to cook on the KARU 12G first. So actually, just before I put this pizza on, I checked the oven temperatures again during that 10 minutes that I made the pizzas, and they've actually come up a couple more degrees, so they're actually about 450 on the stone now. So we'll get this pizza on and see how it cooks. So here's our pizza cooked on the KARU 12G. You can see there, nice crust, nice even bake. And on the bottom, we've got a nice bake on the base there too. So let's get the next pizza on the KARU 16. So we've got the same style pizza. On it goes. Alright, there we go. So there is our pizza that was cooked on the KARU 16. And again, as you can see, lovely base on there. Nice crispy crust. Very happy. And then finally, just so you can compare the two side by side, this was the one cooked on the KARU 12G. There's the base. There's the top. And this one is the one that was cooked on the KARU 16. There's the base. So leave me a comment, guys. Let me know which one you think looks better or which one you would prefer. So that was my review of the Ooni KARU 12G and the Ooni KARU 16. Now, in terms of the pizzas that came off these ovens, I thought they were both very similar. They both cooked in around 90 seconds. The flavour from that wood was ideal. And really, if you're just using these for cooking pizza, either of them would be absolutely fine. If the choice was down to me, I personally would go for the KARU 16 simply because of that extra room. I found it a little bit easier to move the pizza about. I feel like using the KARU 12G felt a little restrictive when I'm used to using this oven. But if you're looking at getting into pizza making and you don't have the budget for something this size, then this is still an ideal option for you. So as a final summary, I made some notes here. The KARU 16 is a more versatile oven because it's got that extra cooking space. You could fit like a roast chicken in there, you could do breads, anything like that. That larger cooking area gives you more versatility for moving the pizza around. It gives you more room, move it close, move it further away. And I would say that if you plan on having larger parties, larger gatherings, or if you've got a large family, then the KARU 16 would be for you. Now, some of the cons with the KARU 16 is it's a much heavier oven. It's hard to move about on your own. It's not ideal for travel if you wanted to put it in the car and take it somewhere. And it's also a more expensive oven, not only to buy, but to run as well. Now, obviously, having all that extra space takes more fuel to heat up and more fuel to run. So overall, I'd have said this is less of a beginner's oven and more for someone who's got some experience cooking on fire. Now, the KARU 12G, if you are a beginner, it's ideal, it's very, very easy to use, it heats up quickly, and it's nice and consistent with that small firebox. It's much lighter, so if you were planning on taking this camping, away in the van, for a weekend, over to a friend's house, it's much more easy to travel with, and the case that comes with this actually comes with a handle on top, which makes it handy too. It's also worth noting that if you take this down, the chimney actually fits inside the oven, making it nice and compact. And of course, when considering the cost, it's about just over half the price of this oven. So not only is it cheaper to buy, but it's also cheaper to run both on gas and when cooking on wood or charcoal. Now, obviously, some of the negatives is it's got less space, which means it limits your cooking options. I would probably recommend it for smaller families, or if you were only cooking maybe 3 or 4 pizzas per session. And when you get a smaller oven like this, there is always that worry that somewhere down the line you might want to upgrade to the bigger one, which is obviously the most expensive way to do things. But remember, whichever one of these you choose, they're both capable of cooking amazing pizzas. So let me know in the comments section below which one of these ovens you prefer, or which one you've considered buying based on this video. And if you wanted to buy either of these ovens, I'll leave links in the description below. Now, it doesn't cost you any more money, but using that link helps me out with a bit of commission so we can carry on making these kinds of videos. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time for more pizza making videos.